70,000 kilometers in 9 months. That's right, after just 9 months, that's how much country I've covered in my 2024 Toyota LandCruiser 79 Series V8. You get the picture. In that time, this vehicle has driven everything from regular dirt roads to flooded creek crossings. It's been bogged in mud and loaded to GVM, spending the majority of its life on heavy corrugations. It is, for me, a true workhorse. That doesn't mean it's perfect. After all, no vehicle is.
We are parked up just outside of Alice Springs in front of the magnificent Western McDonnell Range. Thought it would be the perfect spot for this episode. So in this video, we're basically going to take a look at the rig and how it's held up over these almost 70,000 kilometers. Now, obviously I basically expect this thing to give me 500,000 kilometers without too much drama. Obviously there's regular maintenance in that time and there is going to be things that need to be replaced. That's just part and parcel with any machine. There was a lot of controversy when this shape was released with the movement in the bonnet, for example, and how the guards are mounted. So let's take a look at all that. So I figured first things first, let's just get straight into what dramas have I had with this thing, what mechanical failures, that sort of stuff. So basically the only drama I've had with this vehicle is the clutch let go. I've got a video I made about that. I'll chuck it up if you want to have a bit of a look. It didn't completely fail. It was fine. It didn't leave me stranded. It was still working, but it was making funny noises and it was starting to slip. Most people, if they're going to get a tune or put bigger wheels or tow with these, I mean, a lot of people just go straight out and replace the clutch. Yes, it should probably come with a stronger clutch from factory, but then there's people that don't have a drama. My old man's got 2 of these. He tows a lot for work. He's never had a drama. It's never slipped. He tows all the time. So I don't know. So I ended up putting in a heavy duty terrain tamer clutch and we're all sweet. That has been the only drama. So we'll open up this little sucker and I'll show you guys what's going on under here. So standard filter element, that's what we run. That was replaced last service. Bottom of the box, is there any dust up under this sucker right here? Let's take a look. Yes, there is. Check that out. There is dust. There's dust. So let's take a look at this filter, and I reckon if you take a look at this seal, you can see the dust line. That's the underneath. There's dust. If you take a look at the top of this seal, there is no dust whatsoever. I don't think there's any problem with the way this box seals. I never had a problem on my previous LandCruiser as well. I have had pinched seals though when the vehicle comes back from a service. That's why it's bloody imperative to check your airbox. There's a particular way to take this airbox lid on and off without pinching this seal. What I think is going on, and the research I've done, is you can see here, hopefully on camera, dust here. Same with this side. Dust on the clean side. So it's safe to say, in my opinion, that some dust gets through this filter element. And from some of the studies I've looked at and research I've done, you know, air filters have a certain efficiency rating and all the rest of it. They're letting air in, therefore they have to let some kind of dust in, pretty much. Like something's going to get through. Some filters are better than others. So I'm going to get into that in another video, but there is a filter. I'm not going to replace this housing. Look, that's a whole nother video in itself. I did buy a housing. I went to fit it. It cost me 1,200 bucks and I'm not bloody happy with it. I'm going to make a video on that. That's why I've stuck with the factory housing. There is a new filter that I'm waiting to come to market. I'll go into that later as well. And it's got a much higher efficiency rating than these. It's supposed to be extremely good at stopping dust. So in my opinion, the only thing I'm looking at here and what I'm worried about is the element actually letting some very fine dust in. Now, my old LandCruiser I traded with 300,000 on the clock. It had dust in the airbox. I never had a drama with that motor. Am I worried about this? Yes, obviously I am. But I don't know. What can you say? I'm really waiting for these new filters to be released to the market so I can use them. So as you can see, if you look down in here, the top of this doesn't line up with the bottom of the box. And obviously you see this rubber piece here, you can squeeze it in and out. You've got movement in it. When you're putting this on, what a lot of people do, if you look down in here at the edge of this box and you look at the seal just here, you see how it's touching? If you let it rest on there and then you try and push this on, it peels this side of the seal off. What you want to do is make sure this is not in contact with the filter at all. Push it forward. So as you can see here, if I push it forward, I line it up with the bottom box. So you don't want to put it on like that. You want to push that forward, line it up with the bottom of the box, and make sure, you know, the whole top lid fits over the filter evenly. So you want to make sure you're placing the filter lid down on the seal. You don't want to come down on the seal and scrape across. That's when you get dramas with a pinch seal. Now, before any of you leave a comment about that, I haven't actually talked to Toyota about it yet. I keep bloody forgetting, and I'm going to do it as soon as possible. I'll let you know what they say, because like I said, I have not modded this engine. There's no tune, it's bloody stock. So they can't tell me that it's got a tune, so it's, you know, sucking too much air in and squeezing the sides of the box in, and that's where we're getting dust ingress. Like I said, in my opinion, it's the actual filter element. Now, obviously, the dust that is on the top side of that air box, it is extremely fine. It's not like it's letting large particles or anything in. It's extremely fine dust, but obviously you don't want that sucking into your engine for hundreds of thousands of kilometers. It's clearly not going to be a good thing. Now, look, as I said, when this shape was first released, there was a lot of controversy with these brackets right here for these guards. Every man and his dog was saying it's shit house and they're going to crack out and whatever. Well, look, after 70,000 Ks, I'm happy to report there's no cracking, there's no dramas whatsoever with them. Everything's holding together absolutely fine. While I'm here under the bonnet, we may as well briefly touch on the engine and what mods I've done. I've done absolutely nothing. There's no secondary fuel filter under here. There's no catch can. I haven't done anything. Air filter box is stock, and it's mostly gonna stay this way. Look, I might add a secondary filter one day, but for now she's all good and I'm happy with it. Another thing I think we'll take a look at is where this bonnet thingy, I don't even know what you call it, clips into up here. A lot of people were wondering about that and had concerns with it breaking. I haven't had any dramas. It's been solid, so no problems there.
Now to the flimsy bonnet. What's the story with that?
Another thing that people pointed out when these came out was the amount of movement in the bonnet. Now, obviously the way this bonnet's designed and the way these guards, these panels are done, it's all to do with bloody crash rules and pedestrian rules in Australia. You know, there's got to be X amount of room between the top of the motor and the top of the bonnet for if you hit someone and fold them over and their bloody head hits the top of the bonnet. There's got to be a certain crush zone, and this can't be too hard, all that sort of stuff. I'm just grateful we still get a solid rig like this, and I guess they're making it how they have to make it. Now, yes, the bonnet moves. There's been no problem. The bonnet's not cracking. There's no dramas under here. Like I said, the guards haven't cracked. I guess it is what it is so far. There's no problems at all. So as you can see under here, a big rock or something's flicked up and has dented the actual, like the side step, but who cares about that, but the actual body of the car. So that's very unfortunate. Also, if you take a look here, there's a bit of a dent in the door from a stick or something that's flicked up. I don't know if you'll even be able to see it. And back here as well. Now we'll have a look at the front here, just under here at the bull bar. Big dent right here. Now, all these other injuries happened out bush. This is me being a bloody clown driver, and I didn't see a concrete bollard in town and pulled up into a park and like just nudged it, put a little dent in it. So look, it's a kind of a sad sight, damage like this, but it's to be expected. The vehicle's being used constantly out bush, and I guess it's just the way it goes. Also have a cracked windscreen that's started out about that long and it's traveled this far, so I have to look at getting that replaced soon.
missed opportunity.